Hello everyone, this is Magic Evolution. My name is Dragaura, and this is a tutorial on gems. This is a tutorial requested by KoshinTheKami and a few others in-game. So, let's get started. I've got you started out on looking at the gem page for my Mega Blastoid. As you can see, it says right there in the middle where you can only inlay one gem with the same type, and I have 3 gems out of 4 possible inlaid into her, and on the right you can see a list of available gems. Now, these gems, the main purpose of them is to boost stats and actually debuff effects. As you can see on the right, where it says Vigor Gem, there are gems that say Poison, Slow, Freeze, and Blind. These different gems will add to the effect of those types of debuffs. So, for example, my Mega Blastoid, I have a Freeze Gem on her, an orange level Freeze Gem, and it says basically it adds 2.2 seconds to the length of time that the enemy is frozen by her, and it adds 13% damage when the ice breaks. Now, this plays off of the original skill of Freeze, which says normal attack has a 7.2 chance to freeze the enemy, who will be unable to move and attack and will receive an extra 10% damage, and it will last for 2 seconds. So by having that Freeze Gem on her, it will actually last 4.2 seconds, and the enemy will receive an additional 23% damage at the end of the frozen status. So, the main thing you want to pay attention to when it comes to gems is for the different debuffs, you want to line it up with the correct monster. So, I could put a Poison Gem on Blastoid, but it won't give her anything because she doesn't poison the enemy. This is just a boost to those effects. So, for example, I have Poison on my Venus because she has the ability to poison enemies. So, on top of the base poison damage, she gets an additional 1,750 poison damage. Going on to my Machamp, his blind time has an additional 0.9 seconds. And for my Aggro Iron, the slow effect is increased by 14%. So, those are the 4 different types of Vigor Gems, and those are 4 different examples of how they are used on monsters. I'm going to scroll back over to my Blastoid, and I will talk about the next type of gem called the Rage Gem. This, on the one I have on Mega Blastoid in particular, has Rage Recover plus 14%. Basically, the Rage bar that gets filled in order for you to use skills, the speed at which it fills the bar is increased by 14%. So, that means that my Mega Blastoid gets to use her skill, her active skill, that much quicker. While it only seems like a little bit, every time you add any kind of rage recovery percentage to your monster, it will slowly increase over time. So, having the plus 14% may not seem like a lot, but in battle, every little bit helps. So, that's why I try to make sure all of my monsters have a Rampage gem on them. Next is the Skill Gem. Now, I took out the gem that I normally have in Blastoid, but this is, if any enemies use skills, the damage is decreased by 2%. So, say the enemy was using their skill and it was going to damage my Blastoid for, say, 100 HP. Instead, my Mega Blastoid will only receive 98 damage, because 2% of 100 is 2. So this adds up very quickly as you level the skill runes up. I've actually have on my guard one where the skill damage goes down by 7%, because I want her to stay alive as much as possible. That way she can keep the rest of my team alive. But going back, I'm going to go ahead and hit Inlay, which puts that skill gem into one of the slots. Now you'll notice it moved the Rampage one over, and that's because it keeps them all in roughly the same order. Now, the weird exception of this is the Fusion Gem. It's the last on the list, but it's the second slot, so but the Fusion Gem, in particular, increases the attack and HP. So this definitely strengthens my monsters up by quite a bit. Now, as you can see, I've got the base Fusion Gem, level 1, it adds 800. Level 2 adds 1625. I don't have a level 3 to show you, but I have a level 4 to show you, and it goes up by 6,500. So the leveling, it scales just a little bit, but it does add up quite quickly as you increase the level of your gems. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, now that I've shown you the different levels and what happens with that, is how do you level up gems? Well, I'm going to click on one of my slow gems and hit level up. Now you're taken to this page. You must use other gems to level up the same kind of gems. So, as you can see, the only gems that show up on this list are all of the Vigor gems. If I go back and click on the Fusion Gem, the only gems that show up are the Fusion gems. So, actually, I'm going to go back to the Fusion Gem and show you the fun little trick that is to level up gems. You select up to 4 gems. Now, as you can see, as I selected more gems, the success rate for leveling up the gem is increased. Say I want to play it risky and go for using only 2 gems at a success rate of 55%. If I fail, I will not get the level up, and I will lose the gems that I was using to level it up. I will keep the original gem. It will stay at level 2. However, the 2 gems that I'm using for that success rate of 55% will be lost. I will not be getting those back. So, to play it safe, I typically try to get up to a success rate of 100%. Yes, I could play the risky game and not use as many gems. However, there are actually quite a few places to get gems. So, for now, I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to level it up. And it says level up succeeded. Now, as you can see, all the green fusion gems that I used disappeared. And now I'm left with a blue fusion gem. That gives me 3,250 attack and HP. So, you're probably also wondering, alright, so why can't I put in, 2 fusion gems? Well, I'll show you. If I try to put in a second fusion gem, it says you can only inlay 1 gem of the same type. The different types are the Vigor, Rage, Skill, and Fusion. So, unfortunately, if you have a monster that doesn't have a... No, I didn't mean to click that. It doesn't have a poison, slow, freeze, or blind effect, like my guard, 3 slots are really all she's going to use. The skill damage reduction, the rampage for rage, and the fusion gem for an increased attack and HP. Now, the other thing to note is that your player level determines how many slots you've got open. So, I don't know the exact levels that the first 3 open up at, but I ran into this when I wanted to use the 4th slot. It told me I needed to be level 65 to use that 4th slot. So keep that in mind as you're leveling up, that you will unlock the ability to inlay all 4 different types of gems. So up until that point, you might want to consider, do you want to increase the debuff effect? Do you want to increase your monster's attack and HP? Do you want to have them increase the rage bar a little bit quicker? Or do you want to decrease their skill damage? Basically, decrease the amount of damage that they take from enemy skills. So, it's a little bit of a balancing game with that. However, the other thing that you need to keep in mind is, while it's nice and all to level up gems, your monsters must be of those gem. The awakening level must match the gem level. So let's see. Best. I'm trying to think who might be the best to show this, since all of my monsters are pretty high in awakening. Oh, I know who. I'm gonna switch over to my next team and switch to my samurai and show you for fun. I'm gonna... No, that's not what I meant. I'm going to remove my freeze on Blastoid, go over to Samurai, remove that, and you'll notice normally it goes highest to lowest. The orange got put at the end of the list because my monster is not at the orange level of awakening or higher. Basically, I need to get him to awakening phase 5 before I can inlay a level 5 gem. So, if you don't want to worry about, okay, what color comes after what level or awakening phase, just look at it like that. So, the freeze level 5 requires my monster's awakening phase or level to be 5. Since he's only awakening phase 4, he can only inlay gems up to level 4. Well, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the level 3 back in. And the level 5, if you'll notice, is back up at the top because Blastoid, she can equip it. Because she's, well, awakening phase 6. So, I'm going to go put that back in. So, now the next question is, alright, where do I get all of these gems? I'm going to switch back over to my first team. So, nice! Good job, Dragon Blaze. So, most of the gems you will get is in Wonderland. Namely, if you go to the Champion League, the shop is where you can get some gems, and they cycle through. You can get you can get gems of multiple different levels. Right now it says I can get some of poison, freeze, and fusion for level 1. See what happens. Oh, there we go. Now that I hit refresh, I can get a freeze level 2 and a blind level 2, and I've been known to be able to buy level 3 gems as well. But of course the price does scale. So the level 3s tends to be over 1,000 reputation, or renown is, I think is what it's called here in the League shop. Let me double check. Blurp, 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 blurp. Yep, okay. Anyway, it doesn't tell me what it's called. Alright, I'm just gonna call it reputation. The little medals that is there. So as you can see, I have 3,610 reputation, I suppose. So I could easily buy the freeze level 2. The other place you can get gems is actually the guild battle shop for battle coins. Same thing here. They have blind level 1, poison level 1, fusion level 1. So yeah. But wait, there's more. I can also buy gems at the Endless Trials shop. More specifically, the Rampage and the Skill gems. Normally at the Champion League shop and the Guild Battle shop, you get the Vigor gems and the Fusion gems. Here's where you go for the Rampage and Skill gems, because they're a little bit more helpful, I guess you could say. They require a little bit more work to get them, but needless to say, it's actually not that hard to get trial coins. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and buy a Rampage gem, and that's that. Now, the other place you can get gems at random is in gold chests. I noticed after a while I started getting random gems from the gold chests. So that is a 4th place you will be getting gems. So very quickly you'll end up how I've got, and just ending up with a massive list of gems that you just slowly use them to level each other up. So, and each level actually uses different amounts. So like, for some reason, level 2 needs 3 of a kind to get to 100%, while level 3 only needs 2. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Level up succeeded. And now I have a freeze level 4, which is purple. Generally, with leveling up gems, real quick, going back to that, it takes 2 to 3 of the same gem level in order to level it up. You can use a higher level gem to level things up. I don't know why you would want to, because it seems a little redundant or wasteful. Actually, more wasteful. Yes, it is a guaranteed success rate of 100%. But you'd be better off using the same gem level or lower to add up to the success rate that you want to use. So, that is really just about it for gems. Again, you got your different kinds for checking with different buffs. And you want to make sure you line up your monsters accordingly. So like, as I said before, like Monster Champ, he has a chance to blind the enemy. So the blind gem is best with him. And so forth and so on. The fusion and rampage gems definitely are very helpful for all of your monsters, as well as the skill damage reduction gem. So you really want to keep an eye on your gems as you collect them, and make sure to level them up as you go. But be careful that you don't try to level up a gem beyond your monster's awakening level. Because as soon as you do that, your monster will not be able to use it until you get the monster's awakening level up to that same level. So, but that's it on gems. So, this is Dragaura signing off, and I'll see you in game.